figure out what you are. A shining light in the dark. One more night is all I need from you to change your mind. There's something dark in the air tonight.
Hi, good day to you. My name is Colin Maepa. I'm the Internal Communications Coordinator at the University of Johannesburg. Today we're speaking to a lead vocalist and a guitarist for the music band called the CrashCarBurn. This guy is a lecturer at UJ and he's a qualified chartered accountant. Garth, please tell us, where did it all start?
I discovered music pretty late in life. So after matric, I basically picked up my textbooks to start studying, and I also picked up my guitar. So I found that sort of towards the end of my degree, I was suddenly in this band that had started to do quite well. So I was discovering these two aspects of my life at the same time.
What did you study at UJ?
I studied accounting at UJ. I did the CA stream. Well, back in the day it was RAU, so that was before the change. And then after I completed my honours, I decided to take a little bit of time off. I went overseas. And basically we did music full time for 2 or 3 years. And then I came back to South Africa, completed my articles with PwC, and now I find myself back at UJ, but as a lecturer this time.
How did you realize that you could be both a musician and a lecturer?
Well, it's not like I woke up on a Tuesday and realized, you know, that this is what was happening. It's a migration, you know, and I think that's anybody's life. You move towards a point where you're happy. So I have these two aspects of my life that I enjoy and that I'm hopefully, you know, not too bad at. And it's a case of, you know, personal discovery, finding out how do I let these two things coexist, these two things that are traditionally, you know, worlds apart.
You said you also work as a radio DJ on Highveld 947. You seem to have love for the entertainment industry. Have you considered that maybe as a career alone?
Yeah, so I do stand-ins for 947. So if somebody's sick and they need somebody to help bail them out, I'm the guy they call. But basically, to answer your question about the full-time entertainment industry, it's a tough industry, man. And you know, everyone you only see the glamorous side of things. What you don't see is that these people, they don't have a home. They travel 365. You know, when I was doing music full time, it was a hell of a lot of fun, and it's fantastic, you know, while you're young. But eventually, if you're a normal guy like I actually am, you want to settle down and have all those normal things that normal people have, and it's very difficult to achieve that if you are constantly traveling, you know, always away from home. So the great thing that I've managed to achieve now is I still get to do my music, but I live a relatively normal life aside from that.
Please share with us, how do you manage to be a professional chartered accountant at UJ and a musician at the same time?
I think you need to make sure that whatever you're doing it for the right reasons, you know. And I see this sadly a lot with my students is, you know, people have picked a particular course, or they're doing something that their heart's not really in it. And, you know, maybe you can get away with that for a couple of years, but eventually you are either going to be very unhappy or you're going to want to make a change. So you need to make sure that once you commit to something, or when you're deciding what to commit to, that you're doing it because you love it and you enjoy it, and then you can only be successful.
Do you see yourself doing music for a longer term or a short one?
It's a drug, man. It's once you've started it, going down that road, there's just no turning back. So there's a good chance that I'm going to wind up, you know, 60 years old singing cover versions in a pub while people try to block me out in the background. But as long as I'm making music, I'm happy with that. And as long as I can make music, that's what I'm going to do on some level.
What skills does a lead vocalist and a good guitarist need to be like you?
I am not the best musician. In fact, I'm a pretty terrible musician, but I enjoy what I do, and I think, you know, that translates and people can see that. So I think you need to, if you want to be in the music industry or in the entertainment industry, something like that, you need to have perseverance. I think a lot of people think that this stuff happens overnight. That's just not the case. And even where it appears to be the case, it's not the story. There's usually, you know, years of work and effort that go into to making it a success. So you need to be, you need to persevere, and you need to be in it for the long run and be in it for the right reasons. You know, if you're in the music game to make money and be famous, probably going to fail. But if you're in it because you enjoy it and you love making music and communicating with people, you know, that's a whole different story, and the chances of success, again, are huge.
Which are some of the biggest gigs that you've performed at before?
We've been very lucky over the last couple of years to have some really great opportunities come our way. We've played shows like Coke Fest alongside Good Charlotte, 30 Seconds to Mars, Korn, bands like that. We were very lucky to be added to the Vans Warped Tour. That's a tour in the States where we got to play with you know, artists like Katy Perry. Who else was on that? You know, Paramore was on that tour. A lot of big names, and we got to see, you know, America. So more recently, last year, we played Joburg Day with Fall Out Boy, Jessie J, bands like that. So we've been very lucky along the way.
You featured Kwesta, one of the local hip-hop stars in the country, on one of your songs called Keep Walking. That means you obviously mingle with the local celebrities. Do your students see you as just as a lecturer, or do they also treat you as a star?
I'm not sure. I try as best to keep the two separate. So if you come to an accounting lecture, there's absolutely no chance of me breaking out into song. And likewise, I'm not going to be giving IFRS tips in a CrashCarBurn show. So,
what can the young people that know you and admire you learn from you as somebody that is good as an academic and also as a musician?
I think it's very important, once again, to persevere. You know, it's like anything with life. If you want to become a doctor or a CA, you got to study for 7 years. If you want your band to do well or be successful in the entertainment industry, you need to put in the work. So that perseverance message comes through again. Time management is a massive thing. You know, I'm very lucky to enjoy full-time employment at UJ and have the music thing on the side. And I realized that, you know, I have certain responsibilities on both spheres that I cannot, there's people relying on me to do these things. So I take my job very seriously at UJ, and I also take my music very seriously, and I manage the two as such to make sure that I don't let any one of those two things slack.
What is your day like as a UJ lecturer and as a musician?
I think my day, you know, is pretty much like anyone else's day. I wake up and I go to work and I do my job. The only difference is where maybe you go to gym or art class after work, I go to the studio or I go to band practice. And you know, my weekends maybe are a bit busier than the average person, but for the most part, you know, I live a pretty normal life, and that's actually something that I'm very grateful for. So
there you have it, chaps. That means you can be a best student, #1 in your class, and you can also be a good staff at UJ or wherever you are in the world, and still enjoy what you do best. If you love music, go and do music. If you're a soccer star, go play soccer. Until next time, ciao.
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.